I've been holding off on recording this video because this is the most unsure, unstable team in the league. No. Yes. Yeah. Second most unsure, unstable team in the league right now, behind the Philadelphia 76ers. Portland. Okay. Let's get straight to it. Damian Lillard requested a trade about 2 months ago. Has it been more than 2 months? It has been more than 2 months actually. It's been almost 3 months at this point. And he's still a Portland Trailblazer. And every 2 weeks you'll see some new thing. Dame posted a thing with Miami to his story. Jimmy Butler posted about Dame Dollar and Dame reposted it. It's just like I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen because if they really, you could see in two perspectives or two views, I guess. You can see it one way, as in if they were gonna trade him, like if they were actually gonna trade Dame to Miami specifically, he would have been gone by now. They would have found a deal, they would have worked it out, and they would have got him to where he wanted to go. You can see it that way. Or you can see it like they're still negotiating and they're still talking with other teams, and there's a lot to talk about, I guess, but I don't know if they're doing that because it's been 2.5 months since he requested a trade. It's been that long. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. And the thing is, Dame's on like a multi-year deal. It's not like he's gonna just go in free agency and like sign to the Heat. They'd have to buy out hundreds of millions of dollars, and that's a lot of money for a team to buy out. So I don't know if Portland would do that. But Dame, man, I don't know what's gonna happen with Dame. I'm gonna get straight to the record. Last year, they were 33-49, being 13th in the West. This year, my projected record for them was 30-52, still being 13th in the West. And the reason I don't have them changing much, yes, they did add Scoot Henderson, but I think the whole thing with Dame, as loyal as Dame is, as much as Dame loves the city, he's expressed that he wants to go. And that's not gonna be good for the locker room if Dame does stay, because I'm making this video assuming Dame does stay. This video might not even come out because Dame could get traded like tomorrow. But assuming Dame does stay, these are my thoughts, this is my prediction. 30-52, 13th in the West. If Dame did stay, hypothetically, the locker room is not looking great because Dame has been very loyal to the team. And he's had a great supporting cast, or not great supporting cast, it's a lot. He's had a supporting cast for the past, he's had all sorts of different supporting casts actually, through the past 10 years. And if you look at what he had in 2019, which is probably the peak of the Blazers in the Dame era, and that's Jusuf Nurkic, that's CJ McCollum, that's Maurice Harkless, that's Al-Farouq Aminu, that's Myers Leonard, that's all sorts of other guys who added to that team and who were really good. And if you look at that team compared to what they have now, the only guy that's left is, I'm pretty sure they might have had Anthony Simons at that time, even though he may have been like really young. And then Jusuf Nurkic. And that's it. So most of these guys aren't really, I'm thinking they don't have that bond with Dame like that. Like Matisse Thybulle, Jeremy Grant, Nasir Little was there. But a lot of these guys are younger too, especially. Like this team, other than Dame, Jeremy Grant, Nurkic, and I guess Matisse, these guys are all extremely young. So they have a whole new team, but with Dame and the old team kinda, the old Blazers and the new Blazers. Think about it that way. Dame's part of the old Blazers, but he has turmoil with the organization and he wants to leave. And now when he comes and plays with these new Blazers, the new Blazers, since they don't have that connection with Dame, I mean, Nurkic might be fine with it because he's been with Dame for the past who knows how many years. And I guess if Nurkic spreads that sentiment to the rest of the team, they might work it out. Because, you know, people are unpredictable. You never know what's going to happen. But the way I see it, I don't think it's going to be good, especially in that locker room. I mean, Dame, there's another possibility that I thought about with Dame being a mentor to Scoot. And I mean, that could help. But especially with just all the things, with him saying he wants to leave Portland, I don't think it's going to work. I think Scoot, at this point, should just grow there on his own and do his own thing. But it's tough. I don't know what's gonna happen with Dame. So let's not talk about Dame. I talked about Dame for 6 minutes. There it is. Good. Now moving on. Anthony Simons, Scoot Henderson, that backcourt. First of all, I did a video about how to saving Dame with the third pick. I put a card to it in the top right corner, right here, I think. That video, I talked about all the things that Portland Trailblazers could do with the third pick, and in that video I said, the one thing I hope they don't do is draft a player and keep Dame and keep the team the way it is. But that's exactly what they did, at least so far. But another thing that I did mention in my mock draft video, card in the top right corner, in my mock draft video I mentioned that I actually wanted Portland to select Amen Thompson after trading Dame, of course. I wanted them to select Amen Thompson because Scoot Henderson's, 6'2", 6'1", or 6, he might be 6'3", I don't know for sure. He's not that tall. And Anthony Simons like 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", around those heights. Not that tall. At least compared to other guards nowadays, especially with guys like Shea and LaMelo and Luka and all that. So, of course, small guards can still be effective when you see guys like Curry and Dame and Kyrie. But it seems like the league is moving to a spot where more guards are coming in at tall heights. I didn't even mention Cade Cunningham, Anthony Black, Ashar Thompson. These guys are coming into the league and being really tall guards. And so it seems like the league is shifting into a new era, kind of. And I thought that drafting Amen Thompson would be a better fit because the past 10 years with Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum have been a small backcourt, and in the end it didn't work. They traded CJ, and the team didn't really win anything other than the conference finals appearance. And I really didn't want to repeat that cycle with Anthony Simons and Scoot Henderson because these two are great players with great potential, but they're both 6'3" or shorter. So that's the one worry I did have about them. And I mean, they could figure it out and they could be better, I guess. But it's just seeming, with the way the league is going right now, with the new era that we're going into, I thought that Amen Thompson would be a better pick. But they didn't pick him. They picked Scoot. And Scoot is an extremely skilled player. He's a great finisher. He's a great athlete. He has that clutch gene in him, I think. And he's really good, honestly. It's just, man, the thing with Scoot Henderson, let me talk about Scoot Henderson a bit. Scoot Henderson has been a conflicting player for me because there's a part of me that says it's obvious he's a skilled player. You can see when he plays. He got that dog in him. He's an amazing athlete. He can get to the basket at will. He's a great dunker. He has that clutch gene in him. He got that dog in him, like I just said 10 seconds ago. And he makes good defensive plays. He looks like a Derrick Rose, John Morant type guy. Those were my first comparisons, I think, for him. Was it Derrick Rose and John? I know Derrick Rose is definitely one of them. So a Derrick Rose type player. But then, of course, there's also the other side of that, where I was like, he came out of the G League, and this is just in my mind type stuff, because when I look at the league a lot, I look at stuff that happened in the past to try and think about the future. And I know it's not always the best to do that, but sometimes it gives a bit of insight onto what the league's gonna look like in a few years. So I looked at the situation with Jalen Green. Jalen Green, high pick, came out of the G League, extremely athletic, and if you look at his scouting report, I think I looked at his scouting report years ago, and pretty sure it said got that dog in him. I can't remember for certain, but I'm pretty sure it said it got that dog in him. I'm pretty sure. I can't confirm it. And Scoot Henderson generally had a pretty similar comparison to Jalen Green. I mean, they played slightly different positions, but they're both guards, really athletic, can get to the basket, got that dog on him, and what's the last one? Came out of the G League. So when I look at that and what's happened with Jalen Green hasn't been bad by any means, but he hasn't been the best. He's a really skilled player, and has a bunch of potential, and we've seen flashes, but we haven't seen what he can. We haven't, compared to the other top 4 picks. Scottie Barnes won Rookie of the Year, and he didn't have an amazing season last year, but he still has been really good. Evan Mobley's been amazing, made an all-defensive team, I think. I'm pretty sure he made an all-defensive team. He's been amazing for the Cavs, being one of their twin towers down low. And Cade Cunningham, when he's healthy, he's been a generational talent. And then you have Jalen Green. And Jalen Green, he has potential, but I don't know how good he is, man. I don't know how good he's going to be. And that's what made me question about Scoot Henderson. Because, of course, they're not the same player. But when you look at the comparisons, and you look at the similarities, you got to wonder, is Scoot Henderson's career going to go down the same trajectory as Jalen Green? But then I look at everything with Scoot and everything surrounding him, and I'm like, how can I not believe in this guy? Because he said in one interview, I'm determined I will be Rookie of the Year. I'm calling it right now. And I'm like, when you say something like that, you know that guy, of course it's not a guarantee that they're going to be Rookie of the Year, but you know that that person is determined. You know that person is motivated to do what they got to do. And when I think about it that way, I'm like, is Scoot actually gonna live up to the hype? And I don't know. I mean, we have to wait and see throughout his career what he's gonna do. But the way it stands right now, I'm torn. I'm torn, man. I don't know, man. I just have to wait and see. I don't want to make any too bold predictions, because at first I was saying I think Brandon Miller is gonna be a lot better than Scoot Henderson. He's 100% the better pick. And I still think that he's the better pick. I just don't know how good Scoot Henderson's gonna be, because Scoot Henderson, we've seen, he has that extremely high potential to be amazing. But I don't know how amazing he's gonna be, especially with the new era the league's coming into, with the team he's on, with the management, with the injury problems, like I said before with Derrick Rose. The comparison, Derrick Rose was my comparison for him, and Derrick Rose encountered injuries in his career. So I'm wondering, is Scoot gonna have the same thing? There's a pretty high chance that he will. And he did get injured in his G League game, which is something to be concerned about. So I think right now, if I had to make a prediction for Scoot Henderson, at least for the beginning of his career, I'd say he's gonna be amazing, very skilled player, but he'll get injured. And that's why he's not gonna be at the level that everybody says he will be. I can't say that, because I'm not gonna make any bold predictions. I'm gonna try to keep it as shallow as possible. But Scoot Henderson's an interesting player to think about, man. And I really am interested to see how he plays this year. And then when you look at the rest of this team, like I said, extremely young. First of all, let me actually talk about Anthony Simons. Anthony Simons is the guy who is looked at to be like the main young core of this team. Anthony Simons, or the main young guy, the main young core piece, I should say. And he showed really good flashes last year. I think he averaged a lot of points. I don't know how many points he averaged, but he was pretty good last year. And now people coming into this year are looking at him like, and he's supposed to be the number 1 option on this team. Assuming they trade Dame, he's supposed to be the number 1 option on his team, He's supposed to be kind of the main guy, and we're expecting some stuff from him. And of course, I'm excited to see what he's gonna do. Actually, I don't even have any bad things about Anthony Simons. I guess the only thing I'm a little worried about is how he's gonna fit with Scoot. Because when you have two small guards, one of them is gonna have to play off the ball a little bit. Because we've seen it can work where both of them are handling the ball a good amount of the time, but it's best when one of them is a good off-ball player. Let's look at duos in the past. What is a good guard duo? Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan. That's a great one. Both of them are great players, but Kyle Lowry's the main ball handler. DeMar DeRozan doesn't need the ball in his hands all the time. He can run some ISO plays. He's not the most effective player off the ball, but it's like they share the ball handling. Of course, Kyle's the main ball handler, but they do share the ball handling. Kyle can get it to DeRozan. DeRozan can run some plays every once in a while. Or not run up some plays, but he can run his own plays to get his own scoring. I guess it's not the best example, but that's the main backcourt example. Because when you look at Curry and Klay, of course, that's the obvious example. But Curry and Klay are both amazing off-ball players, and Draymond's really the guy doing the playmaking. So that's why I didn't really want to use that example. What's another? Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili, but I don't know if I watched enough Spurs basketball to actually make a good judgment on that. Both of them handled the ball. I think that might be a good example because both of them did handle the ball and play make pretty well, and so they both shared that responsibility. When I look at these guys on this team, neither Scoot Henderson nor Anthony Simons are really primary playmakers. I mean, Scoot Henderson can get assists, he can get shots for his team, but he's not, when I look at him, I see him as I see Derrick Rose. And Derrick Rose, when you look at him, his main asset isn't really his playmaking. I can't say that though, because I wasn't there for prime Derrick Rose. I was there, but I was 4 years old. Man, it is tough to record. It's tough to talk about these guys, man. What am I trying to say? Scoot Henderson and Anthony Simons, I think they're going to be good. They just have to see. I have to watch, really, because if Anthony Simons can play off the ball, I think that really helps them a lot, especially because Scoot Henderson is a guy who's better when he has the ball in his hands. And if Anthony Simons can learn to work off the ball, that helps him a lot. If Scoot Henderson can learn to work off the ball too, he has been working with Curry in the gym, so I think that could be another thing he adds to his game. And if he does add that to his game, watch out for Portland, man, because they do have a small backcourt, but that doesn't mean they can be good. That doesn't mean they can't make a conference finals appearance. And then the rest of this team, Jeremy Grant, he has one of the most, in my opinion, overpaid and unreasonable contracts in the NBA right now. I mean, Jeremy Grant's a great player. He deserves money, but I don't know if he deserves that much money, especially for a team that has young pieces. And are they trying to contend? That's the question, because giving Jeremy Grant all this money, I mean, you can use him to help your young guys, I guess, maybe just help them, but it doesn't make sense to me. And then you look at the rest of the young guys in this team. When I was watching the press conference for the Blazers, for the rookies, Scoot Henderson, Rayon Rupert, I don't know if I'm saying that right, and Chris Murray were the three rookies there. And then, of course, Scoot Henderson is the guy who gained most of the attention, but Rupert and Chris Murray were two guys who I also looked at, who I was curious about. I'm wondering how they're going to play. I mean, they should be able to get a decent amount of opportunity, because this team's depth is not good at all. So, I mean, I didn't even mention him, but I'm going to get to him after this. Hopefully they get a decent amount of PT. They might not because of but they probably will. Because there's not that many young guys on this team. I definitely can see a world where those two are getting a good amount of minutes to produce and develop and do their thing. But the last thing I have to talk about before I end this video is Shaedon Sharpe. I have not touched on him at all for this entire video. Shaedon Sharpe he has tons of potential, just like the other guys. He was a top 10 pick, right? I'm pretty sure he was a top 10 pick. He was definitely a lottery pick. I'm pretty sure he was a top 10 pick. And we saw flashes from him last year, just like we saw from a bunch of other guys in the draft class. But I can never expect too much for players coming into their second year, especially young guards, because they're still growing, they're still learning. Really, when you gotta expect something is the third year, because the third year is when you're thinking, okay, now let's see something, because you got 2 years under your belt, you got a little experience, you got a little development. Now this is the year. This is especially why I'm looking to Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley, Scotty Barnes, Jalen Green, all these guys, Franz Wagner. I'm looking at all these guys, seeing how they'll grow in their third year, and I could see some good things happening, man. I could see some good things happening. And the last thing I have to say, I guess, what is the direction of this team? They have Damian Lillard, they have Jeremy Grant, and those are two contending pieces. They've signed Matisse Thybulle, another contending team type piece, because he's not the type of guy you would have on a rebuilding team. He plays defense, and that's about it. That's exactly the type of guy you'd want on a contending team that needs defense, like the Dallas Mavericks. But the Dallas Mavericks didn't sign him. The Blazers did. Why? Don't know. That's why I'm saying I don't know the direction of this team. I don't know where exactly they're trying to go, what exactly they're trying to do. And their depth is horrible, so it's not like they're going to be anything contending. Their backup power forward is probably either Chris Murray or Jabari Walker. Do you know Jabari Walker? Jabari Walker averaged 1 point a game or 3 points a game. He didn't average more than 4 points a game last season. No disrespect, but this team is not good. So I'm hoping they tank, go for a pick in the draft, get a power forward. Like, what's his name? Cameron Boozer, I think. Was it Cameron Boozer? One of the power forwards. I think there's a really good power forward up in this upcoming draft class who's looking decent. Maybe they can get him. But right now, I still don't know what they're going to do. I hope they trade Dame, but we don't know what's going to happen. So all we can do is wait and see. And that's all I have to talk about. These videos are legit going to be 23, 22 minutes each. At least 20 minutes each, because I have a lot to talk about with these teams, man. This is the Portland Trailblazers. This is one of the... actually, no, it makes sense why I have to talk a lot for this video, because they have the third pick in Damian Lillard. Why would I not talk? But still, these videos are probably going to be like 20 minutes long each. So, be ready for those if you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment down below any tips, tricks, or topics you have me to talk about on this channel. That'll be it for me today. I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.